Come back in here just after 10:30. Many Kentuckians have spent the last several days cleaning up storm damage. In Richmond, a couple says they lost nearly everything when a tree crashed into their home.
All of that wind last Friday. WKYT's Lucy Bryson talked to the couple as they're working now to rebuild.
Damaging winds tore across the state just days ago, leaving damage throughout the Commonwealth. Stephen Mullins and Chase Powell of Richmond nearly lost everything.
Sounded like a bomb went off, honestly. And then I just looked up and our whole ceiling was caving in.
Friday's high winds caused a tree to fall and destroy their home while they were still inside.
I believe that if we would have been even like a minute later and would have been in the kitchen, the whole ceiling caved in, so we potentially could have been trapped underneath.
The loss of their home also meant that their animals had to be separated from them, since there is now no home for them either.
I'm a lot more concerned about them than even myself sometimes, so yeah.
The couple says almost nothing is salvageable, but in a moment of desperation, they turned to social media for help.
I have a TikTok and I post on there pretty regularly, and I was just posting about it to my followers, and they were like, you should really start a GoFundMe. We'd really like to support you.
As of now, the fundraiser has made over $1,500 since Saturday, with the highest donation from a single donor being $1,000.
I don't think if people would have donated, I don't know what we would do. So I'm sorry. I just want to say thank you.
They say that that money will go towards replacing items and, most importantly, keeping their pets together.
We didn't know what we were going to do, and just having this kind of support from other people makes us feel a lot better.
And they hope it will help them get back on their feet again. In Richmond, Lucy Bryson, WKYT.
Good to see people reaching out, and you can find a link to the GoFundMe in this story on WKYT.com.